Planning and Community Development Committee. Supervisor Beatty, seconded by Supervisor Stroud. All those in favor? Ed, do you want to go first?
Sure.
And can you
Yep.
kind of whip through your slides reasonably quickly? Yeah, great.
Good morning. Again, going to give you an update report for the month of April and moving forward here. Again, as I mentioned, tomorrow morning, registration at 9:30 at 10 o'clock, we have an update. Round 8 of the CFA process will be held at the Crandall Library, lower level in our community room. Members of Empire State Development will be there to give an overview of programs principally in the ESD area. That includes other related areas, but it will be focused on that area of economic development principally for the area. So again, that will last from like 10 to 11:15, 11:30 in the morning.
Would this be advantageous for supervisors?
I think it would be helpful for, it's an overview at a higher level, but I think it would be helpful if you could get down there. We do have some coffee and some other cooking. Cookies, we have
What time is it again, at 9?
9:30 is registration, 10 o'clock is
Okay.
the Arnie will, coincidentally, will be retiring at the end of this fall, will be leading the charge there. Arnie has been with the Empire State Development for several years and is an outstanding individual in this area, so he'll be leading that area. And just a person with a lot of resources and knowledge. There'll be some other representatives. So I think that would be helpful, Craig, to go there. And again, 10 to a little bit after 11. Good opportunity also just to chat with the people. If you get there a little bit earlier, say hello to them. And, if you've got projects thinking about going forward, whether it is privately. Now, the Empire State ESD grants, which West Mountain was the recipient of a $600,000 grant, the other part of that is that there is 20% only. So the other 80% has to be committed by your local company. So it's not that West Mountain got a grant of $600,000 and that was the end. They had to go out and put together financing for the remaining 80%. Same thing with Elizabeth Miller's project last year. She received a grant of $600,000, but she put in $3.4 million into the facility. Finch Paper 4 years ago got $1 million. They put in $19 million into the investment. What else? We had StoreTech in Queensbury received 2 grants totaling $400,000, and again, that represents only 20% of the investment. And also, our water valve company on Pines Island received about a $600,000 grant, but again, it's only 20%. So that's important to understand that program. There are other programs that have a little bit more variance if you get into the recreation park areas, the more 50-50 that many of you are experienced with. There's the expert over there on his programs, and that has a higher percentage for the local share. So if you have the time to come down, I think it would be again, those were the grants from last year, totaling about $6.2 million for Warren County. Also, the Opportunity Zone, which I've mentioned here in the past, the state of New York asked for a 30-day extension until April, and 30 other states did the same. So there was an announcement last week for the first 20 states that submitted their applications by the end of March. The Department of Treasury recognized those. We expect confirmation from the U.S. Treasury by the end of this month, early next month, for 2 opportunity zones in Warren County. One is in the city of Glens Falls on the west side from Glen Street to essentially the Queensbury line, which is broad south Hudson Avenue area. areas formerly represented by Mr. Brock. The other area is Johnsburg, the entire town of Johnsburg, and particularly this incorporates into the hamlet of North Creek. So again, this opportunity zone is not a grant, not a grant to a company per se, it's not a grant to a community or a county. It is an investment tax credit, so that here the idea is to encourage investors, particularly, let's take North Creek as an example, to encourage investors to undertake investments for expansion of their lodgings in the North Creek area, or restaurants. If investment comes in and they maintain their investment portfolio of a Johnsburg property for 10 years, when they do turn and sell, there is no capital tax on the property. If they keep it for less than 10, there is a proration. So this is really, capital, capital at its best work. This is the first time since 1995 that there has been such a program. It was a bipartisanship program by Republicans and Democrats in the Senate and House of Representatives that put this plan together. And that could be investments, whether it's lodging, it could be infrastructure projects, if it is related to an investment project as well. So that if a private development is putting in infrastructure, that also could be included as part of the tax credits that would be available for that. The key that we have to work on here is, once we're designated, and we're already starting to work, is to be talking with the various investment companies that specialize in new market tax credits and tax opportunity, and some banks are involved in this particular area. Those banks tend to be larger banks, such as Wells Fargo or Bank of America, that are involved. And so those are the keys, because they're the people that are going to be in connection with their clients and so forth. So we are developing a portfolio of information for Johnsburg and for the west side of Glens Falls, and we are starting to share that after we get the sign-off by the two communities with certain investment firms around the country that the state has given us a list for. 500 census tracts were designated in New York State, so this is just not one or two census tracts in our region. 500. The bulk of them, however, are in metropolitan New York. Buffalo, Rochester, and Syracuse, the larger cities. In our particular area, these are census tracts, Glens Falls, Johnsburg. There are some census tracts down in Albany. And how the census tracts were designated is based on a formula including low, moderate income areas in order to qualify for the program. And therefore, there also is an opportunity, once we're officially designated, is to work with those areas that are immediately adjacent to the approved census tract. So as an example, in the western side of Glens Falls, there is an adjacent census tract in the town of Queensbury that has similar characteristics, although not quite as low income as Glens Falls. So there's a possibility that we can share that investment opportunity and joining census tracts there, John, as well as up in Johnsburg area, so that we're looking at that very closely for that. So that is just another opportunity for us to promote a couple of areas within Warren County. Again, nationwide, there are thousands of these census tracts that have been designated. So it will be a competitive area for us. We want to work with investment firms that may have some nexus of connection to our region in upstate New York for some verification. So that's what we are working on, some New York State-based firms. One in particular is Scott Murphy, who was our congressman for a couple of years. Scott is a principal in one investment firm, as an example. Scott has given us some other investment firms. We've also have a list for the state, so we've reached out to some of these, again, that have some kind of nexus to New York State and upstate New York as well, so that we don't have to start with, what is in North Creek, what's Score Mountain, and so forth here. There's some familiarization with this. And it's also a valuable tool for businesses that people are thinking of retiring. They may have been in the business for 20 years in an area they want to sell, so this is a perfect opportunity as an incentive to, Mr. Beatty wanted to buy a business, is acquiring that, but utilizing these investment tax credits, recognizing that when he developed and sold the business after 10 years, he made no capital gain. So it's a useful tool for certain applications. It's not a cure-all, but it's helpful for us to explore and see. And it's a 10-year program. So we want to get going on this right away. We expect that designation will be coming in the next few weeks for New York State and for those areas. Any questions on the opportunity zone? Last week we participated with a group of various environmental groups in Lake George, principally to kind of talk about the boat washing program that has been underway, just not for Lake George, but for other lakes in the particular area. They are working with the Department of Motor Vehicles for boat registrations and so forth, so that there'll be information that will be available for people in understanding what they've got to do when they come up our area, that they've got to boat wash in our particular area. Also had the opportunity, led by Supervisor Craig in Chester, for his third planning, and they've created a action committee working with the Chamber of Commerce, and they start moving right along. Craig doesn't have much under his feet here in order to get this thing going. So I think they've done a good job. Also, I have to add a comment, a positive, to the APA and Dan Kelleher, who has been very helpful, not only, I think, Chester, I don't speak for Craig, actually helping there. Lake George has done some economic development, and we work very closely with Dan from APA. And again, that's part of our collaboration in towns, your involvement, pros and cons sometimes with APA decisions. Here, it was announced last week that 773, the plumbers and steam fitters, are going to be acquiring a second lot adjacent to their current lot up there to expand their apprenticeship program at that current site. They are going to be adding some additional features of their apprenticeship program. Currently, their apprenticeship program is a 5-year program. They work for a contractor during the day, and then at 4:30 Monday through Thursday they come in and do apprenticeship instruction from 4:30 to about 8:30 at night, 4 nights a week for 5 years. So it's an aggressive program. 773 has been awarded several apprenticeship awards nationally to various entities in that area. As I said, currently right now there are 75 apprenticeship program people that are in the program. They just had a graduating class of about 25 2 Fridays ago. Also want to mention the fact that, speaking of boat washing, this is the Exit 18, that they are scheduling this to be open in the fall at Exit 18. This is going to be the gateway to the Adirondacks. I know there's an attempt to have another gateway up by Frontier Town, where we're calling this the gateway to the Adirondacks down here. This has been expanded into a substantial welcome center. It will have a boat washing facility at that location. Also, it will have a kitchen, and while the food will then be placed in the vending carts for a period of time, there will be kiosks in there, and we will be working with the entities that operate this, including, I believe, the Lake George Chamber of Commerce, to have and develop some film and some images of Warren County economic development, as well as your tourism department is going to be involved in that particular area. And there again is a look at some of the design plans for that facility. They are going to be putting in a new facility on the south side right across the road there, which will not be as elaborate as this. This is kind of going to be an expansive of the one that's up by Spoon Lake area, but a little bit larger and more conducive. This is needed for our area. There also will be a farmer's market that's going to be located in that area as well, so that we can promote our tourists, coming into our particular area. We continue to work with the city in administering the program. The program is moving forward with facade improvements with some not-for-profit areas, as well as the city acquired properties to construct a new market on South Street, where currently the former OTB is, and the GCHR are going to be, have been purchased and will be demolished. And this afternoon, beginning at 1 o'clock, Gore Mountain Chamber, Barton Mines, and others are having a job opportunity fair in the area. A little bit of a change in the concepts. The Department of Labor is very helpful in working to set up, instead of having one major, which they continue to do, is to look at certain regions to have smaller job fairs for those particular areas that people reside in that particular area and can come and find out more information. Barton Mines is hiring, and that's one of the kind of the regulations. It's nice to have a job fair, but you've got to be able to have some employers there that are going to have job openings. I mean, if you go there and they say, well, we don't have any job openings. So the Department of Labor and the various associations now clearly invite those that have job openings or will very shortly have job openings as well in our particular area. And we want to welcome one of our new board members to EDC, and that is the new CFO, Alex Bethal from Finch Paper, who replaces Derek Basil, who is still with the company. And also for our luncheon program, July 2nd, this is the best date I could get from Dr. Kelly. Dr. Kelly is Senior Vice President of IBM. He is the leader and overseer of Watson, the IBM project of cognitive thinking and technology, as well as he headed up and advocated the Jefferson project on Lake George. So he will be present to give a talk on an update on Jefferson, but principally he's there to talk about the cognitive technology that is developing and how its application is to business communities throughout the country, as well as in our area dealing with medical research. So it's just not a compilation of medical data and research. It's putting together cognitive thinking by Watson and providing some assistance to doctors in the field, particularly in very difficult cases to diagnose and for prognosis. One example, I think that this will be a fascinating presentation by Dr. Kelly. It took us a little while. That normally we have our event in May, and May and June were booked for Dr. Kelly. So July the 2nd will be there, and I think that you'll find this a very interested speech. He gave 5 years ago, John. 5 years ago, he talked principally about the Jefferson Project and a little bit about cognitive. Back then, of course, the big thing with Watson was that they beat live contestants with double jeopardy. It's a lot different now with this area. As an example, a Great Escape is involved with this Six Flags for the amount of research and data, but it's just not the computation of this data. It's also involved with the cognitive thinking and also some analysis that is done with artificial intelligence. So it's something that we want to be informative of, but also update our local business community to see how they can become involved in this particular area as well. So we're looking forward to that on Monday, July
Thank you very much, Wayne. You're on, so,
Gee, Ed, let me 5 minutes,
Michael, did you have a question?
Just one quick question.
You know, I learned from the leader.
Yeah.
I learned from you, Wayne.
I have just one quick one.
Yes, go
With the
ahead.
boat washing stations at the new west area, is there going to be signage out on the highway? Are we going to be allowed to?
Oh, yes,
implement
yeah,
that?
they're working, State of New York, through the Department of Transportation, Governor's Office is heavily involved with this. Florida has been very helpful. Jeff Byrne has been very instrumental in really making this a welcome, and there will be all kinds of information available. So part of this meeting, like George, talked about all of these things together, how we can get word out. They're working and having all of the various boat dealers in the whole region will have information, as well as on the registration, as well as notification on the North Lake. Very important to be able to have that. And Senator Little, to give Senator Little a lot of credit, they really expanded from kind of like the Scroon Lake, if you've ever been up there at their Welcome Center, to really a much larger facility, as well as boat launching. There's going to be a playground area, as well as a farmer's market in the area. So this will really be, I think, have a positive effect on our region.
Great. Wayne, what do you think? Let's try again.
Okay. Ed, are you done?
I think Craig has another question.
I'll hold it here. Okay, actually, I think it's a pretty simple agenda here today. It's a lot of housekeeping stuff. The department is requesting a resolution to authorize the submission of applications, plural, under the CFA program. We have some projects that are from last year that didn't get funded that we'd like to restructure based on advice from the grantor agency, and we are in discussions with Supervisor Simpson about some issues up on the southern end of Scroon Lake that those communities border, so we'd look at that. Also, as part of this, if it's determined that we're going to submit an application under the Community Development Block Grant Program, that requires a public hearing, and that has to be done by the Board of Supervisors. So I would look at tentatively requesting a public hearing for the July board meeting. That would be, 10 or 15 minutes before the board meeting. If we need it, we will utilize it, and if not, we won't. So that's a request number one under the...
Any questions on the part of any committee members? Can I get a motion to approve number one? Supervisor Leggett, second by Supervisor Simpson. All those in favor?
Aye.
Number two, go ahead.
Number two, there are a number of old community development grant awards that we had that have been closed out by the grantor agency, but apparently there was never a resolution to officially close those accounts at the county. Treasurer's office has requested that we clean this up, so this is a housekeeping thing, and we'd like to close those accounts on the county books.
Any questions? Motion by Supervisor Simpson, seconded by Supervisor Wild. All those in favor?
Aye.
Number three.
And the last one is Resolution 186. We restructured the staffing plan for the department and dropped the construction cost coordinator from full-time to part-time since he retired. The resolution, and I provided a copy of the pertinent page, says 20 hours a week. And basically, we want some flexibility with that because the treasurer's office is saying he can only work 20, but based on that resolution, and we'd like it just to read, 1,040 hours per year, and we can flex those as we need to respond to projects, and if he wants to take a couple weeks off and it works in the program, we can do that. Additionally, the salary was listed on that resolution form as it is, and the same salary was carried over for 20 hours as for 40 hours. So I think, we need to clear that up. At least that's what the treasurer's office says. They don't want to pay him, double what the rate was before he retired. So there's a request form in there for that.
Any discussion? Can I get a motion to...
I'll move that.
Okay, Supervisor Simpson, seconded by
question.
Supervisor Strauss. Any questions?
So will that change any of the employer responsibilities if you work, say, 40 hours in 1 week? I mean, is there any kind of implications?
No, what I did note on that resolution request form is that we would not exceed 23 hours in any 1 week, or 46 in the pay period, so he's still part-time, not subject to any benefit time.
Thank you.
Supervisor Beatty.
Yeah, so Wayne, you're saying that obviously he'll go to 20 hours a week, but you want the flexibility, you can go 30 hours 1 week, 10 hours another week, I get that.
Yep.
So, again, what specifically will we be paying him?
Whatever the current rate is, and I don't have the hourly, but it would not exceed $26,781 a year.
Okay, that's what I had, okay.
Yeah, that's at the bottom of the form, the request.
Any further discussion? We have a motion to go to Supervisor Bramer.
Just quickly, I wanted to mention to the committee that I talked to Wayne offline about the possibility of using the railroad corridor for some sort of multi-use activities this summer and so the son will be able to use over the winter. So he's going to start looking at ways that can help the county implement that idea while there are no trains running.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I guess we can certainly continue to talk about that.
Right?
Okay. Supervisor Simpson.
I just would like to remind everybody, we still have a contract with an entity, and so we just need to recognize that.
Sounds like maybe a little more confusion than starting to ski on this trail, huh? Great. Do we...
Was there,
I didn't think, we didn't vote yet. I don't
Right.
believe. Can we get all those in favor of the number 3? Against? Any further discussion?
that's all I have for the committee.
Thank you for not bringing slides.
Yeah,
You
and
can bring
I'm
your
a
slides
minute late,
next
I'm
time.
sorry.
Anybody in the audience that wishes to address? Nobody? Can I get a motion to adjourn? Supervisor Leggett, second by Supervisor Stroud. All those in favor?
Aye.
Very much.
Right on time.